What's up guys, my name is Fred and welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel, whatever the case may be. It is a new day and it is time to get back on the roll cage. We're coming down on the final steps to getting this roll cage installed and finished up in the 240SX, so let's get in there and get to work. Okay, so where I left off on the cage project on the last video is the upper bars are tacked in place, header bars tacked in place. Holes are drilled in the floor underneath these plates right here so that the cage can drop down through the floor so that I can weld the top of these once they're fully welded on the bottom. So we have that to do, and we have the door bars that need to be finalized in position. That one there is approximately in the final position, and I need to mark the bar over here where it's at so I'll know where to grind the paint off there and on the front. And I need to do that on this bar as well. This bar is going to land somewhere around here, so I need to get it in position, decide exactly where it's going to be, and then use a Sharpie or a paint pen to mark around it. So then I'll know where to clean the paint off for welding there. And then once all those bars are tacked into place, I can get serious about doing all the final welding on the bottoms where I can reach, and weld as much as I can without burning the headliner, of course. And you can see that I've got some tin foil or some aluminum foil up there to help act as a heat shield, so that might work, or I might have to come up with something better than that. But yeah, that's where we're at. So it's time to get this door bar here, get it into place, make sure it's where I want it, and make some marks and get to grinding. Okay, so I'm inside the car here and I've got the driver's side door bar positioned where I want it. I've got it slid up as high as it can go right before it hits the door panel, so the door will still close okay. The door does hit right up here. The speaker pod or speaker grill hits up here just a little bit, so I'll probably end up having to trim that speaker grill just slightly. But yeah, that's basically where it sits. It's got a pretty good gap right here that I'm gonna have to fill, so not stoked about that, but it is what it is. And the fitment's pretty tight down here, super tight. Very happy with that one, so that'll be easy for me to weld. This one here will be a little bit of a challenge. So I'm just going to mark these a little bit with my paint pen here so that I'll be able to pull the bar out and then know exactly where that bar was, and then I'll grind the paint off in a big section all the way around, quite a bit higher and lower than my marks. But I just need some sort of a mark here so I know once I pull the bar out and start grinding, sand and paint off, where it was going to be at. So there's that one. And then I need to do the same thing over here on the passenger side. So I think that's going to be the spot right there. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this guy real quick. Just get a little paint pen right on there so I know approximately where this bar is going to be after I take the bar out. Okay, something like that. Alright, now it's just time to pull the bars out and sand all the paint off, get it down to bright shiny metal. Then I'll put the bars back in, hold them in place, and get a tack on there. Okay, so after thinking that through a little bit, I decided that I'm not going to put the door bars in just yet, because the door bars, if they're welded here, will make it so that there's only about 5 inches of bar here. So I can't drop the cage down through the floor very far until the door bar would hit the floor. So I need to make sure I can drop the cage as far through the floor as possible without that bar being in the way. So I'm going to do the door bars in a future step. What I'm going to do right now is switch over to the welder and start welding up what I can and get it real firmed up and solid. And then I'll pull out these plates right here, one on each side of the front, and then attempt to tilt the whole cage down, making room maybe over the top of these welds to finish weld the tops. That's the hope. So I'm going to do that first, and then once that's all done, I'll move back to the door bars. That should be a good plan, I hope. Okay, so we've got the cage welded on the bottom as far as I could weld it from where I could reach, and that turned out okay. And now I've got the front floor plates removed, and I've got the front down tubes extended down through the floor. I've got the entire cage rocked downwards as far as it'll go so that I can access the top of the welds. So I'll be welding the top there and the top there, and then the top on these back joints as well. And then while it's down, I'll put a little bit of paint over those welds once they cool so nothing will rust. And then I'll jack the whole cage back up through the floor and put the front plates back underneath where they go. Get everything squared up where I want it, and then it'll be time to either start tacking the base plates or tacking the door bars and then the base plates. That'll probably be what I'll do. But yeah, it's coming along pretty good. Coming down to the final few stages of the game here, I think. So let's just keep going. Okay guys, so it has been a couple of days and I've worked on the cage a bunch off and on in the past few days, and it's time to update you on where I'm at here with things. Let me flip the camera around. Okay, so the cage is currently fully welded into the car now. Everything except the door bars is installed and fully finished welded, so been a lot of progress. I have newfound respect for guys who build and install cages all the time. This is an incredible amount of work. I'm sure it'd be a lot faster at it if I did this all the time. But anyway, if you've never done a cage before, give yourself a couple of weeks, and that is if you have lots of hours during the day to work on it like I do. If you don't have lots of hours during the day to work on it, give yourself a month or two to do this in your spare time, because it's way more work than it seems like it's going to be. But anyway, got the base plates all welded down in there all the way around, including of course the rear bars down here and the back bars back there. Not super proud of all the welding. This isn't the very best welding job in the world, but then again, I'm not really a welder. I'm an amateur at this, so I'm just doing the best I can. But I'm real happy with the Everlast MIG welder that I bought, that I talked about in a previous video. That sucker's been doing really good. You know, it just works. It didn't give me any issues whatsoever, so super pleased with that. What else? So yeah, so next step for me is just to fit the door bars in here. One of them's laying right here on the floor. I have to trim these door bars a little bit. I just need to grind one end or the other to create a little bit shorter bar for it to fit. Because of where my bars ended up landing, they ended up, this bar here and that bar there ended up a little closer to each other than they originally were when Kevin mocked this up in his chassis. So that's no problem. Just gotta grind a little bit on the ends, shorten them up, and fine tune that fit just perfect, and then I'll weld them in. So that's my next step. But before I do that, actually, I'm going to go back here and clean up all the weld areas and paint the bottom of the cage on all 6 points. I'm going to do that before the door bars, just so that it's easy for me to get in and out of the car. Once the door bars are in there, it's a lot easier to crawl in and out. So anyway, that's the update. Super happy with everything. Fitment is really good. Loving the way everything's looking. I am considering putting in gussets over here, somewhere along this bar, probably right in here where the dash bar would bolt into. I'm thinking about maybe making a plate to bolt there and then weld to the bar here, because I just want to stiffen this up as much as I can. A lot of guys will do gusset plates right here. I'm not going to do that. I don't really want anything visible. If I do gussets, I want them to be sort of hidden behind panels and so forth. So might possibly do a gusset back here. I don't know. I haven't decided. I'm not really stoked about the possibility or the prospect of welding onto this super thin factory metal. It's easy to blow through that stuff, and besides, I would be gusseting to a super thin piece of factory metal. How good is that really? How much good are you really doing? I don't know. If I could tie it into a stronger point on the chassis, it would probably be worth it. Like, I don't know, maybe there's some point up in here that's stronger because it's like on a T-junction, and I could tie from there to there or something, but honestly, I don't think I'm going to do that. I don't think it's worth the effort. But up here, it seems pretty easy to do and probably pretty much worth the effort, because this is a long bar that goes all the way around here. So that full length, except for this joint here, has the ability to sort of flex. So I guess realistically from here to here is the length of the bar that could flex when you're going around a corner or something. So since that's such a long run, it just seems logical to me that it needs to be welded in here. In fact, I don't know if you can tell on camera, but I can just squeeze this thing and flex it a little bit just by hand. So now, of course, when the door bar is welded down here, it'll stiffen that up a little bit. So maybe once I get the door bar in here, I'll come up here and do this again and see if it's like way stiffer. And if it is, well, maybe I'll skip the gussets. I don't know, just play that by ear and see how I feel. But yeah, all in all, everything is good. She's in here. I'm coming down to the very last inning on this job for sure, and I'm hoping to be putting interior parts and carpet and stuff back in, I don't know, later today or tomorrow, Saturday. So definitely can make some progress over the weekend. But that's your update for today. Okay, so working on the door bars. I've got everything else basically finalized, and it's just time to do the door bars. And I've actually tacked in this door bar right here. And so the question I've got is, with these door bars installed the way I have them oriented, I'm not really sure if I can get the seats in and out. So that's a major problem if I can't get the seats in. So I tacked this door bar in, one tack on the front and the back, and I'm going to try to get my driver's seat in now. So yeah, let's see what happens. Okay, good deal. All right, so that was awesome. Seat went in without really any problem. I did have to take the headrest off, but that doesn't matter. So here's how the driver's seat fits in here. This is a Nissan 350Z seat, by the way. I love these seats. I've used them in a couple different cars now. Really comfortable, really easy to mount in a lot of different cars. Kind of hard to find in good condition these days, because even 350Zs are kind of old now. So if you can find a set that's in good shape, you can usually pick them up for cheap. But anyway, yeah, so seats in here, and looking good. No problems, I don't think. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish weld the door bar in place, and then once it cools, I'll paint it, and then this side will be completely done. I'll do the same thing on that side, and at that point, at that point we're basically done. Yeah, once the door bars are installed, there's really nothing left to do really besides reinstall the interior, other than install gussets if I'm going to do that. I haven't fully decided yet if I'm going to do gussets, but I was thinking about doing one right here, but I think I'll wait until I get the dash bar reinstalled. The dash bar has to be modified quite a bit to clear this bar right here, so I don't know what that's going to look like or be like. So I think I'll probably do that first, and then I'll make a decision on the gussets. And yeah, coming right down on the end of it. Back to work. All right, guys, it is Saturday, another day, and time to get this door bar installed. Got to shorten it quite a bit. It installs about like that on that end, and back here on this end, it needs to fall down to where the paint's been ground off there. So I got to shorten that coupe back there, shorten the entire length of the bar so that everything can fit where it's supposed to. So it needs to drop down quite a bit, like 6 or 8 inches. So this bar's got to get a lot shorter. But once I get it shortened, I'll be able to tack it in there and burn it in, and then I'll get some paint on that, and that'll be it for the cage. She'll be installed pretty much. Let's go.
Shut up and sit down.
So this is going to wrap it up for this video. I got the passenger side door bar all finally installed and painted up in there today. That was quite a bit of work getting that thing trimmed down to length. And you can see over there that I had to pull the door panel and take off the speaker cover. That door bar hits that speaker over there, so I'm going to have to trim that speaker cover and possibly trim part of the door panel to make it clear, because the cage fits a little bit different on the right side than it fits on the left side, and that's really my fault. I didn't really anticipate there being any differences, but where I welded in this down bar right here is just a little bit farther outside than it should have been by about 1 inch or ½ inch, so it caused it to hit that speaker grill, so I'll just have to trim that. Other than that, everything has come together good, and the cage is officially done now, so she's in there. Everything has been finalized and painted. Nothing left to do on the cage, so that's going to wrap for this little project. Next video, we're going to cover how I'm going to fit the interior back in here. And get the dash installed and trimmed, and get all these back panels installed and trimmed, getting the carpet in and the back seat, and really make this thing look whole again and make it look like a street car again. I don't want to lose any interior panels if I can help it, so that's going to be a big challenge on this, is to fit all the interior back in here. That's going to be it for this video. Appreciate you guys sticking around and watching all this cage work nonsense. It's been a lot of fun and a lot of work getting this done, so I've got mad respect for the guys who do this every day. But thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, give me a sub, and if you have any questions, ask down below, and I will see you on the next one.